Hi, Sean Huxter here. Welcome to Magical Little Worlds with me. Tonight we're going to talk about where ideas come from. We're going to talk about inspiration. We're going to talk about theft. Well, let's just say borrowing of ideas. Ideas are kind of organic. They flow from one another. There are very few original ideas. Most ideas stem from other ideas with augmentation or changes. There are very few absolutely unique ideas. A while ago, I reviewed this set here. This is Mighty Max Liquidates the Ice Alien. When Doctor Who came up with the Ood, they might have been taking a little bit from this inspiration, because it certainly does have that Ood-like look to it, doesn't it? But, you know, we can't say anything about that for sure. However, what I can say is, inside, one of the things I noticed when I was opening this and playing with it is, you know, there's detail everywhere, right? You're in an ice cave. The idea might have come from Empire Strikes Back, maybe, right? But can we say more than that? Sure we can. Because up here, underneath the platform, there's a little detail that is unmistakably taken from the Snowspeeder from Empire Strikes Back. This would have been taken probably from one of the model kits available at the time, because at the time there was a model kit of the Hoth attack with walkers and Snowspeeders. This was before Micro Machines, so it definitely wasn't taken from a Micro Machine. But you can tell as I move this back until they're about the same size, that is basically the same profile. These little engine things here have been added on, but that is absolutely right down to the detail, the cockpit, rear flanges, and engines of the Star Wars Snowspeeder. And I thought, well, that's kind of cute. That was kind of fun. And, you know, you'll notice also in Mighty Max Extinguishes the Fire Alien, same detail, same object up top, of course, because these are recasts of each other, just in a different color. I would have thought that was the end of it until I found this character here. This character is sadly not complete. I got it in a lot with some other stuff, and maybe I'll put him together myself. This is Mighty Max Shuts Down Cybot, and it's a pretty popular character. People love him. But one of the things I wanted to note about Cybot is check out his legs. While not molded directly, because I don't think there were model kits at the time, this is very close to exactly, which is a bit of an oxymoron. But this is the legs of the Ed 209 robot from RoboCop. But this goes a little further. As I was playing with this guy, and his missing pieces, like his visor comes up here, his head pops up back like so, and then his chest opens. First thing I noticed was in here, and try to get in there now, better to turn it upside down because it's a better view. This little detail right here reminded me of something. Because back in the day, in the 70s, just after Star Wars came out, I had the model kit of the X-Wing. And it was a beautiful model kit. It was perfectly proportioned. It was lovely. And every detail of that kit I recognized off by heart. And so when I saw that detail right here, and then we're talking about this little thing right here, I noticed that's the rear of an X-Wing. Now, I don't have that model kit here, but what I do have is the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron X-Wing. And you can see, even though it's not the exact same piece, because they modeled it especially for this model, you can see that it is the same piece. You've got that cowling there and details on the back, and those details are mimicked right here. They're a little different, but trust me, in the model kit from the 70s, that's what it looked like, right there. With that little cowling on top, right there. And that's another example where they took details from the Star Wars franchise. And I'd say, you know what? Maybe that's a coincidence too, but well, let's face it, we know it's not. And then I was looking at Megas. Now, Megas has a little mechanism here where his head has a hook, holds the back in place. You can't pull the back down until you've opened the head. Now you can pull the back away. And when you pull the back away, there are these orange pieces. There's a gun here, there's the turret, and the front chest folds down as well. Once I can figure out how, the chest folds down, like so. And there's nothing that I can detect in here. Maybe these two little things here, these little copper plates, I'm not really sure about that. But what I am sure of is when you go to the back and you look down, that is the top cockpit of a TIE fighter from the model kit from the same era. I had the Darth Vader's TIE Fighter back in the day along with my X-Wing. So I had the original model kits of this. And if you're not sure that this is, you know, theft, there is the same cockpit in the Micro Galaxy Squadron TIE Interceptor, but all the TIE ships had the same cockpit, including Darth Vader's, which is the one I had. And while, again, this is not the exact same model they used to mold into this mold, it is clearly the TIE Fighter cockpit. And here, that's another detail. This is the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. Now, I had the larger version, the model kit, when I was younger, and I recognized this piece here. Even though I just noticed it now, I recognized it immediately because I actually used that piece from my model kit as a little shuttlecraft in some toy I was making. So the first thing I did is I recognized it, and there it is. This little hexagon here with the circle, in this model, it is so tiny, they didn't put the detail in. But the one from the TIE Fighter model kit, Darth Vader's model kit from the 70s and 80s, was about twice this size, and that would make the circle exactly this size. Exactly. So that's another detail taken from Star Wars. Now, I have combed through other sets, and I haven't gone through every one with a fine-tooth comb, but so far, that's all I've found. But you know, if I can say that one set twice, 2 sets, 3 sets, with multiple references in each, I'm betting I'll find some more. I did look in Double Dragon here. I found nothing in here. I found no references in here at all that I could find. And like I said, I haven't seen all the sets, but I can certainly say what I've found. I just don't know what else is out there to find. But believe me, now that I know this is here, I'll be looking at every set in a whole different light. And maybe you will too now. So have a look through your Mighty Max sets if you get a chance. And maybe let me know if you found one that I missed. Okay, guys. For Sean Huckster, this has been Magical Little Worlds. Good night.